our thumbs all day waiting for this game to start.
Not too often we get this long a break between games when we're playing tournaments, and we're grateful for it.
Yeah.
So the boys are well rested up. I just had a little chat with T-Squared's mom. Said he had a terrific day of recovery.
This many teams, things get to running behind pretty easily, and we're going to start this game probably about 45 minutes, almost on the mark, late from what was originally scheduled at 7:30 Central Time. This Brandon Valley team is undefeated at 2-0. Brandon Valley out of South Dakota, and they have among their wins a win over another Omaha team, the Junior Lancers, which is Omaha's Bantam House Select team, and certainly a lot of our guys know a lot of their guys, probably every one of them.
Some ex-players from this team on that team, and some great friends and teammates and hockey camp teammates amongst more. So the Mavericks in their whites for the first time today.
Yeah.
Or first time this tournament. Mavericks are going to be in their white jerseys, and the Brandon Valley Ice Cats are in their darks and the black there. As you see the goaltender in front of you on your camera. Keep my fingers crossed. And the buzzer sounded to end the warm-ups. Mavs on the right. You got the scoring now, Dave. You ready to go?
I'm ready to go, babe.
Ice Cats on the left. Brandon Valley Ice Cats out of South Dakota. And they're in their darks, if you didn't catch that earlier. A fresh 12 minutes goes on the clock to mark the start of the first period.
Should mention the Junior Mavericks are 1-1, 4-2 win over the Kansas City Ice Hawks to start, and then a 2-1 loss to the Des Moines Junior Bucks last night, second game.
I'm going to take a quick minute to thank the #1 best in Omaha 2025 voted Charleston Holmes. Thank you for supporting the Omaha Junior Mavericks this season, along with Cottonwood Salon Suites. Thank you so much, Aunt Jessie, for all of your support. Thank you, Nebraska Electric Power Sports. We sell fun, Nebraska Electric Power Sports. Thank you, Grandpa Joe Chalin Tax Services, for all your support of the Omaha Junior Mavericks. How comes Tremaine? Sturba. Hollers. Gently pokes it back into Mav territory. Jumbled up there as it crossed the blue line. Ice Cats take over on the short wall. Stirred up there, pulled off. Out to the center, pop fly out to Tremaine, bounces over his stick, and a large Ice Cat player circles behind his own net to regroup. The Bear and Keeney back on defense here as the Ice Cats get it out of their zone. Keeney quickly turns it over, has a pass intercepted, shot! Deflected, and a save by Rosie. Here comes Bear. He's poke checked as he's getting into the zone there, stalled out in the neutral zone. Fleming comes up, help out a little bit. Jack Davis now has to help. Jack fires this one in deep behind the cage. Then he goes on his horse for some forechecking. Help by Paxton and Patera, but the puck comes out of the zone to Fleming. He pop flies it back into the neutral zone, and we'll have a little back and forth. Here comes Nandor. Nandor on his horse, gets to the slot, shoot! Big save by the Ice Cats, back to the corner. Schneider works in quickly to try and intercept. Here comes Nandor to try and keep it in. They get it out to neutral zone, and Patera's going to charge right back in quickly. He's outnumbered by Ice Cats, rings it around the boards. Nandor can't quite get there quick enough as the Mavericks went on a line change. T-Squared back in his own corner, fires it center to Fleming. Fleming circling through the neutral zone along the boards. Still in control in the corner, deep below the goal line. Circles out to the other corner, taking a look. Poke check by some Ice Cats, working his way back to the middle. Now comes Heater. Heater tries to get a backhand. That got deflected up into the air. T-Squared feeds it back to Nandor. Tries to toe drag around one. T-Squared gets a loose puck, puts that one towards the cage, just wide. Heater picks it up in the corner. Feed back out to the middle. The skates a T-Squared. One will take over by Ice Cats, and they're going to skate their way out of the zone. Tangled up right at the blue line as they got out, though. A little board battle here in front of the Ice Cats bench as a number of players get tangled. Back and forth, a little jousting and ping pong there in the neutral zone before it went wild into the Mavericks end for an icing. Stopping the clock at 9:22 left in the first period, 0-0 the score.
Matt, I talked to Joe Weinstein, who's the assistant coach for the Bantam House Selects, and said, what's his team like you guys have played? And he said, they're big and they're fast. We've seen that already. Their speed coming out of their own zone is pretty good.
On the smaller line out here now, we got Allers who tried to feed it over to Boss. Ike backpedaling here, nice centering feed, shot from the slot. Rosie with a big save. Taz trying to guard for the blue line. Ice Cats keep it in. Courtright out there back checking as well. Ike now pinching below the goal line. Ice Cats keeping it deep. Allers loses his footing, steps up, tries to guard in the corner, ring around the boards of Gas. Gas turned it over, centering feed, mishandled by Ice Cats, goes to Taz on the other side. Toe drags around one, can't get out past two. Puck stays in the zone at the blue line. In comes Ike with a big hit to foil the charge. Cross-ice pass to Courtright. Courtright, one-on-one, breaks into the zone. Toe drags, can't get a second one around him, loses the puck at the top of the circle. Ice Cats coming back the other way. Lots of defense. Puck goes deep into the Maverick territory. Short wall. Ike pitches it off the wall back out to neutral zone territory. Ice Cats will regroup, carry it right back in. Ike on the defense. Pinches at the short wall, pushes it out towards the middle. Now ahead to Wyatt Tremaine. Tremaine got an attacker behind and one in front. Forced to the wall, tries to feed the middle. Pass is intercepted, pushed behind the cage. Sturba pinches his man. Ice Cats pick up the loose puck. Pop fly it out of the zone. Schneider's going to intercept it. Comes right back to his tape. A little back and forth in the neutral zone here. As the Ice Cats now skated up, fire it in towards the cage, and Rosie's easily going to snag that one with the trapper and freeze the clock at 7:35 now left in the first period. 1-1 the score. We're not tracking shots here so far, but I'd say relatively even maybe on shots on goal.
1-1. I think Rosie's seen a couple more than that.
So, just like I was thinking, about even on shots on goal. Puck drops in Omaha territory. They couldn't quite muscle it out of the zone. Ice Cats fire it in deep. Bear picks it up behind his own goal line, has to battle a defender off. Now he's gaining some speed to get it out of his territory. Now gaining speed through the neutral zone. Bear circles to the dot, fires on net. Rebound comes back out to the dot, and Ice Cats are there to bomb it out of the zone. Stoney, cross ice to Keeney. Keeney. Oh, tried to hit Stoney again on the move. That one goes loose and all the way down for an icing. 7:01 left in the first period. 0-0 Mavs. They complete the line change now and bring out Nandor and Fleming on defense. Patera, Jack Davis, and Stoney on offense. We'll have another face-off draw in Omaha territory. Puck drop, one back to Ice Cats. Fire from the blue line, well wide of the cage. Fleming picks it up, backhands it up the short wall to Jack Davis. Jack Davis at the blue line, tried to center it over to Stoney. Couldn't quite get it through traffic. Fleming tries to help, but Ice Cats pick up the loose puck. Get right back into Omaha territory. Nudged off at the dot. Pass back to the blue line. Patera kicks that one aside with his legs, picks it up and centers it over to Jack. Jack couldn't quite handle the pass in his feet. Loose puck into Ice Cat territory. 2 forecheckers for Omaha as Ice Cat ink their way out of their own zone. A centering pass, somewhat intercepted. Dump in on net. Rosie makes a good kick save to the corner. Nandor gets to that first. Working his way around the wall. Ice Cats stop it at the blue line, send it back in reverse. Jack Davis going to try and pinch. A little corner battle going on here with Fleming and Jack. It finally popped out to the blue line. Jack's going to get it crossed out of the zone, goes head over heel. Big tripping call on the Ice Cats. Hopefully Jack gets up all right. He's slow to get to his feet. He went face first down onto the ice. He's up to his feet and slowly working his way to the bench on his own strength. Oh, roughing.
Yeah, that was a rough.
Oh.
Kind of got the hand in the back and shoved into the wall.
Definitely. Stick in the spokes and a hand to the back, and he went down face first hard. So the first power play of the game here with 5:55 left in the first period. Puck drops in Ice Cat territory. They win it back. They try to drop pass it, but Allers is there. Feeds it up the short wall to T-squared. T-squared bullies his way deeper into the zone. Allers pulls it off the wall. First one towards the net. That one got deflected back. Ice Cats trying to work their way out of their zone. Nice back check by T-squared. Stood up by Ike, turned over by the Boss. Boss gaining speed out of his territory, working his way through the neutral zone. Poke check.
That's it.
Trickles onto the net, then goes to the corner. In comes Heater to help. Heater gets it over to Allers, fires just over the top of the net. T-squared gets to the rebound, can't stick. Oh, stick handling past one. Can he get past two? Back in the corner. Heater comes in to help. Heater behind the cage. Over to Boss. Mishandled the pass. Ice Cats can't get it out of the zone though. Ike dumps it back in deep. Heater will go on the forecheck. Ice Hawks barrel that one hard out of the zone. Boss keeps it up, neutral zone, fires it right back into Taz, who gets run into quickly as he enters the zone, pops right back up to his feet. 4:52 left in the first period, 26 seconds left in the power play for the Omaha Mavericks. 0-0 still the score.
Good time of possession, Matt, on that power play so far. Really did a good job of hanging onto it in the offensive zone, created a couple of chances.
Court right, Schneider, Taz. They win it back to Keeney, then over to Bear. Bear enters the zone, fires. Glove save. That looked like it was going over the net. Ice Cats try to ring it out of the zone. Keeney keeps it in. Keeney gets a second chance to keep it in. He will. Taz going back to work on the short wall. Bullying a bigger man. Does a good job. Comes back to Keeney. Cross ice to Paxton. Schneider, shot. Save. Rebound, court right. Can't quite poke check it. Schneider getting into a little how's your father in front of the net there with a couple of Ice Cat players. Frees the puck at 4:26 left in the first period. 0-0 still the score. Penalty is now expired. 5-on-5 hockey. Schneider, court right, Taz remain on the ice. A neutral face-off win goes to the short wall, and another large board battle going on with four players. Poke checked out by Bear, goes all the way back to the opposite corner. Taz can't quite get there first. Keeney trying to keep it in, can't quite get it. Courtright feeds it back to Schneider. Schneider feeds it ahead, can't quite get it to Taz. That one's an ice. Stopping the clock at 4:02 now, left in the first period. 0-0 still the score.
You said something earlier about Taz taking on a bigger guy. I think with this team, it's got a slight size advantage probably on us, but they can't shy away from the physical play because when they've been able to bottle these guys up, that's when they've had the most success.
Good point, Dave. Finding a team's weakness in the first period is a big one, and then we can exploit that and score some goals. Puck draw in Omaha territory, goes quickly back deep into the corner, rung around behind Rosie, working its way up the short wall, pops off the wall to Fleming. Fleming tried to hit Wyatt on the move. Tremaine couldn't quite reach it. That's another icing, stopping the clock at 3:47 left in the first. Shots have been pretty minimal so far, though.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest adjustment our guys have had to make so far in this game is just trying to adjust to their speed. Brandon Valley really brings it. They've got some guys with wheels, and we're maybe hurrying our passes a little bit too much because of that.
Moving their feet. Puck drop back to Ice Hawks. Big save by Rosie. Rebound goes back behind. Run around the boards. Ice Hawks pass it to the middle. Nice job by Tremaine to intercept. Get it out of the zone. Ice Hawks try to pass it ahead in the neutral zone. Turned over by Fleming. Fleming zigzagging through up the short wall. Drops it to Sturba. Sturba pushes it in a little deeper. Ice Hawks ringing around the boards. Nandor's going to pinch at the short wall. He's going to push it back in deep again. Sturba goes back behind the cage. Sturba getting double teamed behind the cage. Here comes Tremaine to help. Ice Cats come out of the board battle with it. Ice Cats working their way out of their zone, gaining speed through the neutral zone. Poke check really nicely by Stoney. Stalled it out for the moment at the red line. Hit by Fleming, open ice. Nice clean shoulder to shoulder, but the puck goes deep into Maverick territory. Nandor rings it up around the corner. Ice Hawks pull it off to the slot. Shot! Rosie got a piece of it. Puck goes wide. Loose puck back out to the short wall. Patera's going to skate it out of his zone. Patera's got a lot of attackers in front of him. Forced to the boards. From the corner. Feeds it cross ice as his team was on the change. Allers got there, but not before Ice Cats got it out of the zone. A little back and forth in the neutral zone here as Ice Cats try to charge in. They finally break the blue line, push it towards the net, forced behind. from the corner, centering feed out towards the blue line. A bouncing puck and a bigger save by Rosie. Shuts the door and freezes the clock at 2:14 left in the first period. 0-0, still the score. The board saying that the Ice Cats have now taken the lead on shots on goal, just 5-3 in their favor.
Can believe it.
Boss hustles behind a loose puck behind the goal line, tries to feed it around the boards to get it out. Jack Davis goes to work. Ice Cats pull it off the wall. Allers is going to help get it out of the zone. Ice Cats try to push it back the other way. A little back and forth here. Right here as it stalls out in the neutral zone in front of us. Allers trying to push it through some feet. Jack Davis giving a little help. Fires this one in deep. Icing's waved off, and Ice Cats pick it up behind their own net. Trying to pass it out of their zone. They work it into the neutral zone. Quickly seen by an onslaught of sticks and skates. T-squared into the zone quickly with those fast feet. Gets jarred up at the circle. Shot right back out of the zone. Ike over to Boss. Boss, nice sauce pass over to Patera. Patera into the zone, outnumbered by defense. Forced to the opposite board, has a minute. Looks cross ice to Ike, and then that puck gets deflected up into the Ice Cats bench, freezing the clock at 1:11 left in the first period. Still scoreless here in game number 3. That'll give us a face-off here in Ice Cat territory. Paxson, Heater, T-squared come out to take this draw with Bear and Keeney backing them up. Puck goes loose behind the goal line. Ice Cats try to pass it out. T-squared shot loose puck in the crease, cleared by the Ice Cats. Keeney keeps it in, skates it up towards the circle. Puck goes below the goal line, fed around the horn to T-squared. Pulls it out of the corner. Top of the circle, nice fed pass to the middle. Schneider couldn't quite get the shot off. Ice Cats now passing it out of their zone. Keeney and the Bear back on defense as the Ice Cats dump it in deep. Bear's going to get to the loose puck first in the corner. Up around the horn, that one's going to come loose all the way out of the zone. Is it going to be an ice? No, they touch it up. Ice Cats with Heater quickly on the tail here. A forecheck, forcing a turnover. Schneider tried to feed it back up to Courtright. Courtright with a stick lift trying to get the turnover. Couldn't quite keep it in. There's Keeney to help out. Ice Cats now backhanded out of their zone. Mavericks finish their change on the fly. Taz intercepts at the red line. Toe drags around one. Pitchforks it back to Courtright. Bear dumps it in deep, looking for Taz as the forechecker. 5 seconds left in the period. Ice Cats trying to work it up the wall out of the zone as the buzzer ends the first period of play. And this game is scoreless here as we get past one period. Shots are about even, 5-4, slightly in Ice Cats' favor, but the game's been played at both ends of the ice there.
Yeah, I think the Junior Mavericks getting their footing going a little bit against this team now and really pushing back there in the last couple of minutes. Has some good chances.
We'll take a moment to greatly appreciate some of these sponsors that we have this year. Cottonwood Salon and Suites, our original sponsor of the season. Thank you, Aunt Jessie, for the way more than just the sponsorship you bring to this team. We also want to send a huge thank you out to Charleston Homes, voted #1 in Omaha for 2025. And thank you, Joe Chalin Tax Services. Grandpa Joe brings a lot of support to this team. And we appreciate all the sponsorship and support that you bring to us. Thank you, Nebraska Electric Power Sports. Experience the future of electric dirt bikes with a Nebraska Electric Power Sports. A fresh 12 minutes go on the clock for the start of the second period as we have this scoreless battle between the Brandon Valley Ice Cats and the Omaha Junior Mavericks. Out comes Braden Sturba, Wyatt Tremaine, and Roman Stonebreaker to take the drop at center ice. Puck goes loose back into Ice Cat territory. Ice Cats take a look from their goal line, try to bounce it up the boards, but Nandor pushes it back in. Wyatt tries to push it towards the middle. Fleming turns it back over as it's coasting out of the zone. He's getting some speed deep in the zone. A backhander towards the slot, batted away by the Ice Cats. A board pass, a couple of strides. They bounce it through the neutral zone. Fleming comes over to stall it out right as they enter. They dump it back in deep behind the cage. Ice Cats are there first. Fleming with a stick lift. Rung up the boards to Tremaine. Tremaine takes a look from the corner. Poke check slightly, tries to get it up to Stoney. Stoney gets it lost in some skates. Takes another bouncing pass, but it can't quite clear. A shot that goes well wide of the net. Comes rung around to Tremaine, and this one's going to bounce off a stick and get into the neutral zone. Ice Cats bounce it back the other direction. We'll have a little back and forth on the blue line here as Nandor uses his skates to create an offsides for the Ice Cats, and that was a well-timed offsides, like Dave would say, to foil a charge from the Brandon Valley Ice Cats as they were getting back into offensive territory.
I haven't memorized the numbers yet, but they have one real heavy line that's been tough for our team. The rest of it has been pretty much played to a stalemate.
11 minutes left in the second. Neutral zone face-off. Allers, nice push ahead to Jack. Jack to Patera. Patera gets it poked off his stick into the corner as he got into the circle. Comes back to Ike on the blue line. He's going to feed that one in hard around the horn behind the goal line. A little help pushes it to the short wall, comes all the way back out to Boss. Boss is going to ring one off the rafters as that one got deflected. Nice hard wrist shot that went into a stick of another player and got deflected hard into the rafters. That stops the clock at 10:37. Same legs will remain on the ice here. Ike and the Boss back on defense. Rosie having a nice focus game back there between the pipes for the Mavericks goaltender. Jack tries to fish one through the slot for Patera, but it got deflected up over to the other boards. Ice Cats fire one hard out to center ice, gain offensive zone, shot over the cage again. Jack Davis pinches, goes through everybody's skates. Brandon Valley tried to shoot from the blue line. Boss picks it up, fires one hard up to Patera. Inks off of his stick, and he's going to get into a foot race. Kind of winning that battle as he's in the corner now, battling an Ice Cat for the win. Tied up in the corner, Allers and Heater as the puck works its way off the boards out to Heater. That's T-squared. T-squared fires from the dot. That one deflected wide. Boss fires it back into the center, deflected by some more skates and sticks. Comes out to neutral zone, can't quite get to Ike. Ice Cats gain offense. Poke check, fire from the circle, a deflected shot. Luckily went wide of the cage. T-squared picks it up in his own corner, tosses it up to Patera. Patera gaining speed through the neutral zone, outnumbered by defense. Stick handle, lost to the corner. Nice hit. Puck comes free to T-squared off the board. Stick handles out to the slot. Lost control. Ike fires it in deep. Puck behind the goal line. T-squared can't quite get there before Ice Cats skated out of their zone. Ice Cats working their way through the neutral zone. Dump it in deep. Ike loses control. Ice Cats behind the goal line.
Great job by
Paxton Schneider into help as Ike gets back to his feet. Ice Cats try to center it. Comes out to T-squared. T-squared centering past to Heater. Heater deflected that one deep into the zone. He's going to stay on the charge, trying to win a board battle now behind the goal line of Ice Cats, but he's outnumbered. Ice Cats charging out of their territory again, gaining speed through the neutral zone, outnumbered by Mavs defense. One big save by Rosie. Bear loses his stick, pushes a player down. No penalty as the Ice Cats bench is hollering for a penalty on that one. Ice Cats work it back behind the cage again. Keaty gets pushed from behind. Puck goes loose behind Rosie again. Bear tries to fire it up to the boards out of the zone. Ice Cats keep it in. Backhand towards the cage. Rosie's going to swallow it up and freeze that one and slow things down. 8:12 left in the second period.
That's a little bit of a wacky shift out there. Bear might have gotten away with one. I don't have a problem with it, but some of those
balance and he didn't follow through with anything. The kid did fall into the board.
Puck drop in Omaha territory. Bear runging around a little too hard for Courtright. A shot from the blue line. It's high out of control. Puck comes loose. Out of the blue line. Kicked ahead by Courtright. Can't quite win the foot race. Outnumbered by defense. Ice Cats ring it out of their zone. Turned over at the red line. Stoney circles back in. Dumps it in deep. Well, not deep. It got turned over and charged right back out. Ice Cats coming into Mav territory. Poke check by Keeney. Keeney goes to work in the corner, pinches his man, fires it up ahead. Taz gets it out of the zone. He's got an attacker, whacks the stick out of his hand, fires it backwards, back to Bear.
Get some stickum out there or something.
A lot of loose sticks falling on the ice. Bear lost control of it behind his net, had to hustle back to it. Another ring hard off the glass. Sturba couldn't quite handle it. Ice Cats get their shot blocked by Stoney's legs, and a nice centering pass to Tremaine. A 2-on-1 developing. Tremaine couldn't quite find a lane to pass it over to Stoney. Puck comes back to Bear. Bear pushes it over to Fleming. Fleming charging in up the wall. In the corner, circles behind the cage, tried the wraparound, lost control. Still sticking with a bouncing puck, fired it in defeat. Puck still bouncing out towards the blue line, now out to the red line. Fleming gets control, stalls out before the offsides, gets pinched, and then just dumps it into the zone. Tremaine trying to forecheck. Little help from Allers. Stalls it out a little bit in the neutral zone, but Brandon Valley gets pinched by Fleming at their own bench. Allers circling out of his territory. Gentle pass to Sturb. Nice. Cross ice to Tremaine. Tremaine from the short wall. Tried to center it. Allers gets mauled and run over before he can get his shot off. Puck comes back to Nandor from the blue line. Tried to look for a deflection from Tremaine, but that puck went to the corner. Fleming pinches it at the blue line, gets it up to Tremaine in the corner again, centers it, looking for Patera. Loose puck in the slot. Batted to the corner again. Patera trying to pinch, comes out to the center. Fresh off the bench is Jack Davis. Fires from the top of the circle. Deflected by some bodies before it could get to the cage. Fleming keeps it in at the blue line. Fires another hard one wide of the net. Nandor keeps it in at the blue line. Patera stops in the slot, gets his pocket picked. Paxton, shot on goal, save. Stalled out right on the side of the net. Paxton really wanting that goal. Great charge and rush by the Mavericks there. Saw a lot of time on attack for that shift and a half.
Yeah.
Those boys were exhausted. A lot of attack there. Not quite all the shots on goal we wanted, but definitely an offensive charge. Puck drops in Ice Cat territory. They come out with the face-off, gently pass it out of their zone.
This is their big
Numbered by
line.
defense. Get a loose puck at the dot, try to flick it towards the net, goes wide behind the cage. Little battle behind the cage here. Ice Cats all alone for a moment. Feed to the middle, stuck in skates. Loose puck on the side of the cage, goes back behind. Ike picks it up, rings it off the boards to Jack. Jack runs into a big defenseman. Ike comes over to help. Board battle with 4 players. Ice Cats skated in deep behind the goal line. Try to feed to the middle. Lots of players kick it aside. Jack Davis trying to work his way through traffic. Patera can't quite get his stick on the loose puck. Paxton comes over to help. Now comes Ice Cats the other way. Ice Cats, top of the circle, lose control. Rosie sticks it to the corner. One-on-one battle in the corner. In comes Nandor to help. Oh, I'm sorry, Paxton to help. Paxton rings it around the board, turned over by Ice Cats. Ice Cats circle behind the cage with it. Hit the brakes to get some space. From the corner, from the dot, shot doesn't make it through traffic. Jack Davis fires one into the referee. That prevented an icing, but the boys needed a change. Schneider pinches as Ice Cats try to get into the zone. Boss, pop fly backhand, rung around the boards. Ike pitchforks it out of the zone. Patera's going to pull it off the wall. Ink his way into offensive territory, but he's got lots of traffic in the way. Ike swallows it up at the blue line, keeps it in. Ice Cats fire it right back out. Stoney regroups in his own zone. Cross ice to Ike. Ike takes a look. Feed to the middle. Can't quite find the stick at T-squared. He's going to take it in. Ike, top of the circle. Now in the corner. Stick handling, loses control. T-squared takes over, gets poke check. In the corner. It's taken off the puck again. Rung around the boards by Icehawks. Boss trying to hold the line, getting bodied in front of his own bench. Just inked out of the zone. That's going to come back to Stoney. Stoney pop flies it. Taken into some hands of Icehawks. They take it into the zone again. Pinched at the top of the circle, looking for a shooting lane. That backhand, Rosie made a big save. Puck rung around the boards. Here comes Heater, pinching to get the puck out of the zone. It posts up to the blue line. Fired back into OMA territory deep. Ike hits the skids, changes direction. Board pass, can't quite get up to Heater. The second attempt does. Heater working his way out of the zone. Pitchforks it into the neutral zone. Ice Hawks go cross ice, lose control. T-squared bats it in deep, goes for that change. Out comes some fresh legs for the Mavericks as the Ice Hawks got to skate it 200 feet behind their own goal line. They work their way out of their zone, turned over quick by Allers. Allers loses his footing, gets it to Sturba. Sturba mishandles his pass, pushes it in deep behind the goal line. Paxton picks it up, tries to feed it out to the slot, gets deflected back behind the cage again. Loose puck behind the goal line, comes ringing up around the boards to Keeney. He'll keep the puck in deep for a moment, then come out to Allers, who stopped it at the blue line, and an interference on Braden Sturba, I believe, is going to send the Mavs to the sin bin for the second power play that the Ice Cats are seeing this game. 2:25. We had a quick second period. Not much play stoppage there. A lot of fast-paced play for the second period. So the shorthanded unit is going to be Wyatt Tremaine and Allers. Brandon Valley won the draw, got a shot. Rosie kicked it wide, and then Fleming picked it up and rung it all the way down the length of the ice. That's an icing call.
Not a problem. Reset. Let's get another face-off. That was very, very close. Deflected shot, just missed that near post.
Face-off wins are a big one, especially when you're short-handed. Same legs will remain on the ice. Loose puck stalls out. An attempted shot goes wide. Nandor and a corner battle behind. Fed to the middle. Mishandled puck. Allers skates it out of the zone. Allers puck flies it deep into the zone. Goes for the change. Brandon Valley forced to take it from behind their own goal line. Tremaine trying to forecheck. Passed by him. Snyder out there with two other defensemen as Ice Cats gain territory. Shot wide of the net. Loose puck on the short wall. Pitchfork by Nandor. Can't quite get it out of the zone. Ice Hawks feed it in deep. Fleming behind his own goal line. Feed it hard. He's looking for that referee. Got it out of the zone.
It's a three ice bag night for that ref.
Ice Cats regroup in their own neutral zone pass. Circle, finally gained territory. Stood up by Paxton along the short wall. They take it in a little bit deeper now. 15 seconds remaining in the power play. Shot from the blue line. Rosie got a piece of it, send it to the corner. Nandor's there first, gets pinched, comes out with it, fires it, and Jack Davis deflected it out to neutral zone. Penalty expires. 5-on-5 hockey as Braden comes out of the box. Out comes Charlie Patera. Mavs still struggling to get it out of their zone. A centering feed picked up by Nandor and sent flying down the length of the ice. That'll give the well-needed icing and play stoppage to take a deep breath and regroup as a full 5-on-5 squad.
You know, I'll tell you what, after that first sort of little bit of a scramble off the start of that power play when they just missed that post, there really weren't a lot of good scoring chances during that power play for Brandon Valley. The guys did a pretty good job killing.
Stoney Taz and Courtright out there on offense. The puck kind of bullied its way backwards. Ice Cats fire into the legs of Ike, goes to the corner. Tried to push it to the front again. In through the crease. I think Rosie got a piece of it. Shot goes around the cage behind again. Ike goes to work. Picks a pocket in the corner. Circles behind his cage. Bounces it off the wall to Courtright, who tried to tap it out. Couldn't get it out. Puck sent flying back on Rosie again. Stick to the corner. Up around the horn. Courtright can't pinch it out. A big save from Rosie as the shot comes off the boards. Ice Cats pick it up in the corner, try to send it back to the blue line. Taz tries to stall it out. Puck comes back towards the slot, loose into the goal line again, and we stop the second period. 0-0, no score.
You know, Matt, watching this game, continue. 18 and 16 for them are two real dynamic players. The rest of the guys are just real heavy and hard to play against.
Both teams moving their feet. This is just not a lot of clean play, just a lot of fast skating.
Yeah.
Getting the puck down to the zone they want and then unable to really get shots on goal and do anything productive with it.
Taz Diaz working with the wingers a little bit. I think he's trying to reinforce where you need to be for the breakouts.
We're going to take a moment to thank Nebraska Electric Power Sports. They sell fun in Omaha, Nebraska, and thank you for supporting the Omaha Jr Mavericks. Thank you, Grandpa Joe and Joe Challen Tech Services for your support as well. Thank you for Charleston Homes, voted Best of Omaha in 2025. Thank you for your support of the Omaha Jr Mavericks as well. And last but not least, thank you, Cottonwood Salon and Suites, Aunt Jessie, for all you do and your sponsorship as well. Buzzer sounds, and a fresh 12 minutes go on the clock to mark the start of the third and final period here in Game 3. Ice Cats are 2-0 this tournament. Mavericks are 1-1. Mavs coming off a sore loss here last night and looking for some redemption. T-squared, Heater, and Allers come out to take the start of this third period draw. Allers wins it over to Heater. Heater circles and gains territory. Gets his way through traffic, shoots just wide of the net. T-squared gets the rebound in the corner. Stick handles, comes out to the dot. Pushes it across to Allers. He gets it intercepted. Ice Cats charging through the neutral zone. Outnumbers by defense. Nice job by Keeney to poke check it loose. Bear picks it up behind his net. Gaining speed out of his zone. Got a lot of attackers right on his tail. Pushed to the boards. Forced to the corner. Nudged off the puck. T-squared will come off the wall to help. Fire shot to score! T-squared! Look at him blaze over to the bench and get some high fives! T-squared took a hard fall in Game 1, played very little ice time in Game 2, and just took the first lead of this Game 3. Rosie came out of his crease to give him a high five at the bench.
He found that gap between the goalie and the near post and did not miss.
Pushed ahead quickly off the face-off draw. Sturba gets kept back control of it, dumps it on net. Brandon Valley kicks it to the corner. They pick up the puck, circle out of their goal line. Tried to poke check at the blue line, gaining speed through the neutral zone, turned over by Fleming. Nice job to nudge him off the puck there by Nandor right as he crossed the blue line. Foiled a 1-on-0 charge there. Puck comes back to neutral zone, bouncing around. Sturba pokes it in deep, goes for the change. Tremaine going on the forecheck, creating somewhat of a turnover there. A bigger player came out with it. Brandon Valley pops it out of their zone, loose into Maverick territory. Nandor rushing to it as it crosses the goal line for an icing and stops this game with 10:36 left in it.
We got away with a hand pass here. Wyatt kind of batted it down. Sturbs threw it in, but then Wyatt got in there after it. He really kept him by himself when we were getting a shift change going. He kept it in there, which is a good play.
Stoney, Jack, Patera out there on offense. The Boss and Ike on defense. Puck quickly goes to the short wall. Jack over to Stoney, comes out to the center. Ice Cats skating it out of their zone with some Stoney giving them challenge. Now they got Ike to face. Icy quickly poke checks it, tries to pop it up through some legs over to Patera. Gets it a second time. Patera gets into the zone. Meanmug from behind gets around one, fires just wide of the net. Jack Davis trying to get on the forecheck for the rebound. Pinching in the corner. Another attacker helps out. Patera lays out his man. Puck comes loose out to the center. Now Ice Cats working their way through the neutral zone. Boss picks his pocket. Boss gets a stick in his skate, regains footing, and pushes it back in deep. Patera circling behind. Trucks a player behind the net. Penalty coming up on Patera as he circled hard behind the net. That was going to be a rough. Patera was coming in purely for the hit. Play the puck. Play the puck.
You know what, Matt? If we learned anything from last night's game, you got to play smart when you've got the lead in a tight game like this where goals and opportunities are hard to come by because every single play is magnified when it's this tight.
Third power play for the Brandon Valley Ice Cats. They haven't been successful yet, but a more exhausted team gives them a little bit more vulnerability. 9:48 left in the game. Face-off coming up here in Omaha territory. Puck drop. Allers ties him up. Trickles back to Bear. Bear fires it out of the zone. Doesn't cross the half ice line. Brandon Valley trying to push it right back in. Step up by Keeney. Keeney stalls it out right as it crossed the blue line, but now Brandon Valley from the dot, centering feed, shot and a save by Rosie. Loose puck in the corner. Brandon Valley working it up the boards there. D. Vinny takes over, and he'll fire it hard out of the zone. That one's going to be an icing. 9:20 left in the game. That was a centering pass and a good shot by the Ice Cats there.
Good shot.
Luckily, Rosie read that one and got a pad on it to kick it to the corner.
A little bit reminiscent of the tying goal last night against Des Moines.
1 minute left in the penalty here on Patera. Puck drops in Omaha's end. A loose tie-up off the draw. Fleming gets it, fires it hard, can't get it out of the zone. Blue line keeps it in from the short wall. Fleming ties up his man. A little help from Tremaine. A pitchfork to center ice. A stab at it from Schneider. Schneider will get it in the zone, but Puck checks it again. Doing what he can to stall out and kill another 30 seconds on this penalty. A fantastic job. 4 men just stalled out on the puck. Comes loose to Fleming. Fleming fires it hard into the corner. Ice Cats pick it up. Cross ice. Pass is mishandled, goes loose into Maverick territory, picked up by Nandor. Nandor circles behind his cage, fires it all the way down the length of the ice. That one's going to be an ice. 13 seconds. Way to go, Schneider, to tie it up and kill about 10 or more seconds off that power play.
That was terrific. He just kept it along the wall, really battled. He had 2-3 guys around him and another guy waiting for that puck. It never came.
And it popped out on Fleming's stick.
Yeah, that's right.
8:32 left in the game. 1-0 Mavs in the lead. 13 seconds left on the Ice Cats power play. Face off in Omaha territory. Puck drops. Stoney pokes it back into his corner. Boss gets taken hard off the puck, and a penalty coming up. Likely a roughing or a cross check here, I'm thinking. Roughing coming up. His hands were up. Not sure if the stick was up too. So now we'll be 4-on-4 for 7 seconds, and then Mavs will get their first power play of the game.
That's a good kid to get off the ice, too. Number 16's got some wheels. He's made a lot of things happen in this game tonight.
A smaller player that's a dangerous attacker for Brandon Valley, just going to the sin bin for taking out Boss a little overly aggressively behind the Mavericks goal line. Puck drops, trickles by into the top of the circle. Ice Cats coming out with it. Mavs power play now underway. Nice pinch by the Boss. Loose puck in the corner. Ike picks it up. Getting bullied behind the net. Ice Hawks pick it up. They're short-handed. They're circling and pass it out to the blue line. They pass it in deep. Ike, first one to it, rings it up the wall. Ice Cats pull it off the wall, go deep into the zone. Turned over, passed over by Patera, who can't quite get it out of the zone. Ice Cats keeping it in the offensive zone, even though they're short-handed. Mavs dump it desperately to get it out. This one's going to be an icing. No, waved off. Wow. Ice Cats from behind their own cage. Pop fly out to the neutral zone. Boss fires it rink wide, trying to look for the bounce to Patera, but Ice Cats pick it up, take it back into offense. From the dot, drop pass, fire, rebound. Rosie with a big save, picked up by Jack Davis. Jack up to Stoney. Stoney getting mean mugged as he got into offensive territory. Ice Cats pass it out of their zone. Ice Cats outnumbered by defense. Gain territory. Forced to the wall. Shot deflected to the opposite wall. Pulled off of there by Ice Cats. Shot, big save, rebound, goes wide. Ice Cats still on the charge, short-handed. Centering pass, shot intercepted by Boss and then fired back into the neutral zone. Allers on the forecheck, hard. Trying to get everything he can out of this power play. Couldn't quite get the turnover. Ice Cats coming back the other direction. Penalty expires. 5-on-5 shot by Ice Cats goes wide of the net. Bear tried to ring it off the wall to get it out. He couldn't quite get it out. Ice Cats keep it in. Shot. Oh, off the stick of Rosie back behind the goal line. Taz picks up the rebound on the short wall. Jack trying to help. Couldn't quite get it out of the zone. Allers now deep behind his goal line, rings it back around to Taz, mishandled. Here comes another penalty. Slash on Will Allers. Mavs will get their fourth short-handed special teams unit out there now. Fourth time this game.
I gotta tell you, I think we should, that was one heck of a short-handed segment for Brandon Valley. They had the opportunities, and I don't think we got one look at their goaltender.
No, definitely not. Back to the blue line. Rosie kicks that one away. Loose puck next to the cage, picked up, rung around the horn by Fleming. Not everything he wanted on that. Vinny gets pinched. There's another penalty on that. Oh, that's offsides. Okay. Vinny got hit pretty good there, shoulder to shoulder. His head was a little low, and I wasn't sure if they were going to call a little bit of a roughing for shoulder to head, but no penalty on the call.
It's taking a hit to make a play is what that is.
Ice Cats get it dumped into the zone quickly.
My drink.
Oh, I saw it spill. Peter goes to work on the short wall. Ice Cats push it deep in again. Fleming goes to work in the corner. Loose puck behind the cage. Ice Cats feed it to the short wall. From the corner, now behind the cage, out to the middle. Rosie pinches that one behind. The wraparound attempt lost control. Mavericks able to get it out of the zone. Offsides as Paxson was just intercepting the pass and going on the charge.
Yeah, he would have been off to the races had that not been offside. That was a lucky break for Brandon Valley.
5:40 left in the game. 1-0. Mavs in the lead, being outshot in this game. 47 seconds left in the Ice Cat power play. Neutral zone face-off comes back to Ice Cats. Goes into the zone. Deflected shot goes behind the goal line. Ike tried to get around one, couldn't quite work it around. Comes up the wall, Taz. Blue line defense keeps it in. Ike intercepts it. Zigzags around one, pops it out to T-Squared. T-Squared's got 2 to beat. T-Squared zigzagging back to the middle, gets pinched by a third defenseman. Still bullying his way deeper into the zone before Ice Cats finally get control and skate it out of their territory. Ice Cats. Boss muscles his man down to the ice. Shot on goal, gets kicked to the side by Rosie. Ice Cats pick it up on the short wall. Feed back to the blue line. Shot from the blue line does not make it to the net. 5-on-5 hockey. T-Squared picks it up. 1-on-1. T-Squared toe drags one. He's got one goal. Got poke check to the corner. Tried to feed to the middle. Tries again, gets intercepted. Puck comes out to Boss. Boss fires one just wide of the net. Deep into the corner. Skirba will try and turn this one over. 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game. 1-0, 5-on-5 hockey. Ice Cats work it out to neutral zone. Loose puck picked up by Bear. Bear circles in his own zone, fires hard. Tremaine thought he was looking for a man behind him. Let that one go as Ice Cats take over neutral zone. Picked off by Schneider. Schneider gains territory from the dot. Fires. Big glove save. Wow, what a glove by the Brandon Valley Ice Cats goaltender. That was going top shelf.
Yeah, you got a good look at it, though, which helps when you're a goaltender. You track that all the way in.
Schneider got all of that one, and the goalie was able to get the glove up quickly. Schneider, Jack, and Patera out there. Puck drops in Ice Cat territory. Bear fires just barely wide of the net. Keeney gonna get the loose puck, fire it back in deep behind the goal line. Patera on a battle behind the cage with one. Jack comes in to help, brings it up the boards to Keeney. Keeney tries to pop it up to keep it in, tangled up in some skates and a body.
Good recovery.
He uses his body to pinch it there. Puck gonna be tied up along the short wall and pounded in hard by Keeney. Icehawks behind their own goal line. Patera tried to turn it over, couldn't quite get control of the puck. Puck comes up the side wall. Paxton goes to work, turns it over. Jack couldn't quite get a shot on goal, deflected to the corner, comes back out to Schneider. He rings it around hard. 3:30 left in the game. 1-0 Mavs in the lead. Charlie Patera pinching along the short wall to keep it in. Paxton does the work to keep it back in for a minute, then the offside stops the clock at 3:15.
That's all right.
That entire shift in that zone, just what we needed here.
That's a great play by Paxton, too. Those guys had been out there a while. They needed a break, so all of a sudden, that gets a stoppage of play. They can get off the ice, and we can get 5 fresh guys out there.
Courtright, Allers, Taz come out for this center ice face-off. Fleming and Nandor on defense. Timeout by the Omaha Mavericks.
This is that heavy line again. 16 and 18 out there with 3. These guys have been a lot of trouble for the Mavericks here tonight.
Out comes some different linemen here, I think. I don't know. Might be making a line change. 3:15 left in the game. 1-0 Mavs in the lead. Mavs are being outshot 14-10 according to the scoreboard. I feel like that's reasonably accurate. Mavs doing a good job of getting the puck into the zone, but struggling to get crisp shots on net. Ice Hawks kind of doing the same. Had a flurry of good pressure that gave them the shot on goal advantage, I feel. A lot of solid, fast feet movement here in this game, but the passes and the shots have been pretty wild and struggling to get on tape and on goal. So a fast-paced game.
Very fast.
Special teams has been in the Ice Cats' favor. There's been 4 power plays for the Brandon Valley Ice Cats that Mavericks have been able to prevent any goals on, and only 1 power play for the Mavericks that they were hardly able to even get it out of their zone on that power play attempt. So a large war cry comes off of the bench by Jack Davis. And the same boys, Taz, Allers, and Courtright, will take the center faceoff. Andor and Fleming with a fired-up Rosie in the net. Puck drops. Brandon Valley charges it ahead, turned over quickly to Allers. Allers zigzags to the middle. Top of the circle, fires it in gently off the pads, goes to the corner. Allers couldn't quite win the corner battle. The puck comes loose out. Nice poke check by Nandor. Nandor stands his man up at the blue line. Fleming picks it up behind his goal line. Fleming gets pinched slightly on the short wall. Brandon Valley carries it back in. Turned over there as it came out to the circle. Nice interception by T-Squared. T-Squared gaining speed. He's got 1 to beat. Poke check slightly. Gets to the top of the circle. Fires. Bounces off the goalie back behind the goal line. And a big crushing hit. I don't know if that was a penalty though, but they're going to call one on T-Squared. A smaller player just in the way of T-Squared's momentum. Just got crushed behind the net. They're going to call likely a roughing. Yes. So the last 2:30 of this game, 1:30 of it is going to be a roughing call. That one was kind of coincidental because T-Squared just had the momentum and the smaller player just in his way.
Here we go.
So another short-handed unit comes out for the Mavs. Nandor tries to ring it around the, can't get it out, deflected, a shot just wide of the net, goes back behind again. Mavs push it out of the zone. 2:20 left in the game. Icing stops the clock. 1:15 left in the Brandon Valley power play. The boss, Ike, out there on defense, Heater, and Stoney out there on offense. Another face-off in Omaha territory.
Goalie's off for the extra attacker.
Oh, 6-on-4. Goalie, we've got an empty net for Brandon Valley. Puck goes quickly to the corner. Corner battle, rung up the short wall. Couldn't quite get it out. Puck rung around the horn. Ike moving quickly for it, pulls it off the short wall. Ice Cats pick it up, try to get it to the center. Bounces onto Ike's tape. He gets it out to neutral zone. Ice Cats gently pass it back into offensive territory. Tried to fire it on the net, goes wide. Ike goes to work behind the cage. Puck comes loose up to Heater. Heater at the blue line, skates it, fires it, just wide of the empty net. 38 seconds left.
That was icing.
That's an icing call.
Then he was about a step short of that red line when he let that thing go, and they called it icing.
Minute 40
that was big.
left in the game. Vinny Heater with almost solid open net goal, short-handed, still an open net for the Brandon Valley. They pulled their goalie and put an extra attacker, so they got 6-on-4. Brandon Valley from the blue line, shot doesn't get through traffic, puck goes to the corner. Brandon Valley working it behind. Ike picks his pocket, rings it around that's Keeney rung it around the horn. Couldn't quite find Tremaine. Mishandled shot from the blue line. Tremaine from the blue line, top of the circle. Scores on the empty net. Maverick short-handed empty net goal from Wyatt Tremaine, from Keeney to Wyatt Tremaine. They got it out of the zone together. Tremaine had an open skating lane and gently eased that one into the empty net to make the Mavs 2-0.
Matt, that whole play happened because Abram Keeney played hard and kept his feet moving along the wall. He kept that puck moving, got it up, and Tremaine did the rest.
He beat 2 attackers to get that puck up to Tremaine. Minute 19, lots of time left. Power play's got 10 seconds. Brandon Valley still with an advantage here on 5-on-4. Schneider doing everything he can to pinch and prevent this puck from going into his zone. A little help from Tremaine. Keeps it in the neutral zone. Out comes T-squared.
5-on-5.
Sturba comes off the bench. Loose puck in the slot. Picked up by Bear. Bear firing it up the short wall. Turned over by Ice Cats and then kicked out of the zone. Ice Cats regroup. Fire it in. Bear has to pick it up in his own corner, ring it hard around the boards. Tremaine can't get there first, but worked it through the, got the second chance. Tried to feed it over to Sturba, intercepted by some feet, pushed ahead, 30 seconds left in the game. Ice Cats from the slot, shot got deflected. Bear picks it up, zigzags over his blue line, poke checked at the red line. Ice Cats fire it back in, off sides. 24 seconds left in the game, 2-0, your Mavs in the lead. Shots are nearly even now, 13-14, only one in favor of the Brandon Valley Ice Cats, which I believe they haven't had a shot on goal for quite some time now.
Yeah, we've been doing a good job of keeping that out of harm's way.
Face off. Fleming, nice pop fly up ahead to Allers. Allers has got a lane. Push to the side of the slot. His shot gets saved. Oh, he gets hit hard behind the net. Loose puck in the slot. Ice Cats are taking each other out, trying to clear their crease. 10 seconds left in the game as the goalie froze the puck. 2-0, Mavs still in this lead. Penalty on the Ice Cats. That guy was just doing everything to clear the lane.
Is he the one who took out Will, or is he just in there hacking and
Actually,
whacking?
I think Jack actually ran into Will. Allers, clean win, gets his own draw, fires it at the net. Patera tried to deflect it in, puck goes behind the net. Look at this player, just bullying Jack Davis. Pinch still behind the net. Patera ties it up. Mavericks take a 2-0 shutout victory. They collapse on Rosie for getting the goose egg. Redemption from last night. The Mavs had to work for this one. Lots of short-handed play today. Mavs come out victorious.
Well, that was just a terrific effort against a really good Brandon Valley team, handing them their first loss of this tournament. And with that win, the Junior Mavericks improved to 2-1. Same record as these fellas right here. Same record as the fellas from Lincoln. Well, I'm not sure if they're playing later on. I think Lincoln's got their fourth game coming up right after ours. But what a big win for these guys after the disappointment of last night's game to come back and really work hard and work together to get the W against the previously undefeated team.
That's a tough team. Great goaltending at both ends of the ice.
Yeah.
No goalie had too many shots that were straight on. I know we talked about Brandon Valley getting one from Paxton, but a lot of screened and bouncing pucks at both ends of the ice for the goalies to really work hard to make saves during this game. We'll take a minute to thank Nebraska Electric Power Sports. They sell fun in Omaha, Nebraska, and they also sponsor the Omaha Junior Mavericks, and we thank them for that. Thank you, Grandpa Joe, Joe Challenge Tax Services, for all your support of the Omaha Junior Mavericks. And thank you, Aunt Jessie and Cottonwood Salon and Suites for your support of the Omaha Mavericks, as well as Charleston Homes. Charleston Homes also has their own in-house warranty team to take care of their homeowners after closing. And we thank them greatly for their support of the Omaha Junior Mavericks. So 2-1, like you said, Dave, will take us into Game 4 tomorrow morning at 9:45 back here at Moylan Ice Rink.
Me on the other ice.
Game 4 of the Omaha Stampede Tournament. Mavericks pull off a big redemption win against the Brandon Valley Ice Cats and are looking to play the Kansas City Scouts, a very familiar foe.
Those same Scouts just polished off a 5-0 win over the Junior Lancers tonight over Ralston. So they are starting to get their legs under them a little bit. That was, I think, their first win. I think they are now 1-2.
Scouts have seen a lot of the Omaha Mavericks. They've always been a worthy opponent and gone back and forth with wins, ties, and loss. I know Mavs came out with the last win after we played them last. but I'm not sure the record. It's probably a relatively even record between the times that we've played them. So nonetheless, 9:45 tomorrow morning, Kansas City Scouts versus the Omaha Mavericks. Thank you everybody for